Good morning, Scott here. Hope you're going well. Okay, so we've had some big news this week and some more to come tonight, but the markets are still pretty structured, so it's looking pretty good. Hopefully, you got some results early yesterday. A few things played out. So I've got lots to talk about today. So let's not hang around. It's a Friday, so it's always good to not talk and do things at the same time, can I? It's always good to be out of the position by the weekend if that's how you play it, because a lot of volatility can happen over the weekend these days, and often get gaps on a Monday morning. So there's a few things to look at. So just pick the best of the best. There's quite a few nice looking setups actually for today. Okay, let's go. Aussie CAD. The daily, we've had rejection of this level. I haven't really checked the level yet. Just actually check the level. Eyeballing it, it looks like there's a bit of action around this level. Need to go back and check the strength of it, but it's had a massive bearish day yesterday anyway. And maybe it's a bit too much bearish action. Weakness of the Aussie and strength in the CAD, in the Canadian dollar. So it is quite a large move, but the MACD looks really healthy. And if we get a pullback now, the CBO looks really nice. Right? The 382 lines up well with the 4-hour 50, the 1-hour 50 we're catching up. So if it pulls back, hopefully it will pull back. If it does, we don't want to see a higher high from here. We don't want to pull back beyond that, a close on the hourly candle. But if we get a pullback to about 382, maybe a wick, then that could be a fantastic short trade for the day. Take it down to day 20, a bit of a safe option. Still gives 1.5%. We can be a bit tighter on the stop. Or you can play it a bit longer, a bit further down to the daily 50 or wherever. So Aussie Swiss is another one that's looking pretty good. Again, it's the Aussie weakness. And yesterday we had Swiss strength from the news, which was no news. There you go. But Swiss strength, okay, very bearish candle, but it stops at this level, which is actually where these lows are. So just be aware of that. The best thing I think here will be a pip snatcher, just down to these lows, don't go beyond the lows. We look at our fibs from this double top, 1, 2, 3, 4 is a pullback, and 5 is our pip snatcher playing out. The 1-hour 50 is way behind, got to wait for that to catch up, so just be aware of that. But that's a good looking possibility for later on. Aussie Kiwi, we never really pulled back, did it? It tried to, and they just gave up and started going short again. We are looking, boarding on the very oversold. So keep that in mind. Maybe you don't want to take this one because of that reason. But there's a nice looking is that wave 1 or wave 3? Pip snatcher short down to these lows. That could be a good option. 1-hour 50 is not too far behind. That's quite nice. That'll be a quick in and out job. Fib, the Elliott wave. This is probably wave 1. For that consolidation here. Wave 1, 2, 3, wave 4 pullback, and wave 5. So that is quite nice as well. There's a quick pip snatcher. As I said, there's lots of choice. So pick the best ones that suit your trading style, and ones that set up the best. Okay, next one we have is Swiss yen. So bullish action yesterday, breaking through the daily 50 very strongly. We had a level, it stopped at a level where there's been a bit of rejection before, so that could be an issue. But it's looking very strong because of yesterday's bullish action. Okay, best options here. We've got 2 options, I think. We've got either the pip snatcher. It depends a lot on how the price action, when and where it pulls back. So if it pulls back soon, the 1-hour 50 is too far behind for pip snatcher. It needs to either wick it and come back, or it'll you have to wait for it to come back to the 1-hour 50. If it does that, then you're probably better off taking the ACBB, which is the IBO after the 4-hour 50 retest, which we've had the 4-hour 50 retest, daily 50 and the daily 20 also down here. So it pulls back soon. I suggest the ACBB is the way to go. And if it takes its time and wicks 1-hour 50, then best option might be the pip snatcher. And this is probably a good place to take profits, either at this level, these highs, because we've already seen this level on the daily being rejected a few times, or you could push it up to this daily pivot R1. So there's a few options there. See how that one plays out, see how it pulls back for the setup. Euro Aussie, well, okay, massive bullish candle here. The euro had a lot of strength. Aussie had a lot of weakness. Put them together, burst straight through this trend line, which is great news. Finally got some action happening above that trend line. On the hourly candle, we have again, we could have the ACBB or we could have a pip snatcher, and again, it depends on when it pulls back. This 1-hour 50 is not too far behind. But I just see how that plays out and sets up. Either quick one-to-one pip snatcher or ACBB with your fibs like an IBO, but with the 4-hour 50 behind us, and then playing up to either the highs or this daily pivot R1. So that's looking quite nice as well. Euro pound, again, this time's pound weakness with the euro strength. So a very bullish candle straight to the daily 50. That's looking good to go further up, we hope. This one again is the pip snatcher. It falls back with the 1-hour 50 time to catch up, or you could even put in your fibs in here. Probably have to go from down here, and then pulls back to this, to the fib. To the fib 382 when the 1-hour 50 catches up. We could take that as ACBB, entering about there, stop about here somewhere. Give a nice ACBB, and you can take it a bit higher if you wanted to. Euro yen. Very similar. This time we've already been through the daily 50. We're heading up to these highs. We're very much less to those highs, so that's looking good for a bullish day today. And similar thing, 1-hour 50 is lagging behind, so either pip snatcher or the ACBB. Now, this is probably one of my favorites, I think, the pound CAD. Yeah, so we've had rejection of this line here after lots of deceleration days, but it just kept on grinding higher. Nice bearish candle yesterday. And this level is pretty good. I've gone back and it looks pretty nice. So that's a good place for it to reject. Bit of room down to the daily 20, daily 50. And the hourly candles, a bit too big. So we had a break and retest of this trend line that I identified yesterday. Looked really good. Perfect break and retest. A little bit wicky, but that's just the nature of this pair. And then it played out perfectly. So if you've got in that trade, you're looking like you're doing well so far. Now, the daily looks really good. We want to go short, but how are we going to do that? We've already had the IBO. We could have a discretionary secondary IBO, which would probably be the best thing from the price action so far. If it pulls back now, pound CAD another 8 hours actually, but 8 hours for that 1-hour 50 to catch up to the 382, and we could have a nice discretionary second IBO A short, and that would be very nice. That could happen in about 8 hours. UK Open, that'd be a great time for that to set up. IBO, actually, be an IBOC. You already passed the 4-hour 50. Now, the other option, of course, is if this takes a bit longer, comes down further, then pulls back. 1-hour 50 has a long way to catch up, though, which is why I prefer the first option of the IBO. But if that does happen and the 1-hour 50 does tend to catch up, then that could be a CBO. And that probably won't play out till late session today, maybe tomorrow, because the 1-hour 50 is so far behind. Elliott wave 1, 2, 3. So they're probably doing wave 4, wave 5 here. So you don't want to push the target too far. Hopefully it'll pull back soon, give us an IBO. Maybe safe option being a Friday, we'll be down to this daily pivot. and 1.1.5. So that's quite a nice looking trade. Pound dollar also looks good. We've got a rejection of a strong level, very bearish candle from yesterday, a bit of room down to the daily 20 and plenty into the daily 50. So this one looks good. Again, we've had a trend line which was strongly broken yesterday, broken, retested, didn't come away, retested it. Didn't really give us an IBO unless you had an entry order in on the 1 hour 50, because that was a real quick wick and then it blasted down. So now this one looks better for the CBO. Nice break of 4 hour 50 and the 1 hour 50 not too far behind. So if that pulls back in 6 to 8 hours, that could be a very nice looking option. Play it down, also get a tighter stop with the CBO, and you can play that down to day 20, 1.7, or down to the R1, 2.2, sorry, S1, that'll be, or you could even push it down to the daily 50, which would be very nice, but you'll be holding it over the weekend. So be aware of that, but that's probably the best looking setup because of the CBO tighter stop. That looks very nice. Aussie yen, which is completely out of order. Not sure what's there. Okay, Aussie yen, what have we got? Rejection of the daily 50, hang around there. Then yesterday, a nice bearish candle, so that looks good. On the daily, we have never really gave us an IBO, kind of here, but it's very quick. Blasted down. Now this has almost come back to test the 4 hour 50. If you take this as a complex pullback, A, B, C, if it comes back to the 4 hour 50 again with like a double top, so it doesn't actually give us a higher high, we don't want a higher high. 382 here lines up well with 1 hour 50 and 4 hour 50. That could happen soon-ish, in the next few hours, including an Asia pair. And there'll be a CBO, so we tighten the stop. Nice bit of profit down to the S1 daily pivot, or push it further down to these lows. Should be a nice big trade. There is a trend line, a support resistance level here, which I identified previously, which has quite a few rejections, rejection. So if you're trading through that, be aware of that. You may even want to put your stop up here, just at a quick 1.5 or whatever that gives you, 1.5%. But just be aware of that support resistance level. I'll put that back in order. Okay, Kiwi CAD, just 2 more to go. Kiwi CAD, nice rejection. Look at that, a good level. We're waiting for it to reject a level and go give some bearish action for quite a while. It finally happened yesterday. Rejected the level the previous days and then bearish action yesterday. On the hourly, we have a break of the trend line. Never really retested it. Once it broke it, it was off. And through the 4 hour 50, pulled back. Never really gave an entry for an IBO. That's pulled down again. So we've got a slightly lower low. Good, so that's a double bottom, but we'll take that as a lower low. Now we need to see it really break down further and pull back for CBO. It pulls back now for an IBO. We could have a double top, but we could have a higher high. So I guess see how that plays out. If we get a higher high, we don't like it because then we've now got double bottom and potentially an uptrend. But the MACD looks good. So either it'll come back soon and not give a higher high, maybe double top, reject the 1 hour 50 for an IBO, trading through this level, or it'll pull down further, come back for CBO. So that's some options on the table there. And Kiwi dollar stalling, and then a lovely bearish candle yesterday. That's looking good for bearish action to continue. We never really got an IBO, it just left the 1 hour 50, it broke it, then straight through this trend line, and it never looked back. Pull back to the 4 hour 50 briefly, and then went short again. So we now want to see if it does pull back further. We want to see it pull back to the pivot, 4 hour 50, 1 hour 50 catching up. That could be a nice pitch that's just short, or a CVO short if it pulls back. There are a lot of pulling back to do. Let's see how that one plays out. So there we go. That's what I have for you. Hopefully you found some of those in your watch list as well. There's some nice looking setups there, so I like that. Hopefully this will be a good Friday. Fridays often are pretty good days, I found. So hopefully we'll get something playing out. There's a bit of news later on. What we got? Pound, euro, dollar. Quite a lot of news actually. So steer clear of those news events, but hopefully something will play out for you. Hope you had a good day, got a good week in the markets, and wish you all the best for today. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Okay, take care.